Have you ever sat down to do something important and done nothing? Not because you were tired, not because you did not know how, but because some quiet voice inside you said, "What is the point? You will fail anyway." This is the story of Rohan, a boy who had every reason to succeed and every excuse not to. But more than that, this is your story too. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you keep lying to yourself. Rohan was 22 years old. He lived in a small house at the edge of a quiet village. His father worked in construction from sunrise to sunset. His mother washed clothes for 3 families nearby. They had very little money, but they had one dream, that Rohan would pass his government exam, find a job, build a life, break the cycle. Rohan also had that dream. He spoke about it often. "One day I will do it," he would say. "I just need the right time. I just need the right mood. I just need things to settle down first." But the right time never came, because Rohan had a gift, not for studying, but for excuses. If it was morning, he said he studied better at night. If it was night, he said he was too tired from the day. If his friends called, he said he would start the moment they left. And when they left, he sat in silence and found another reason to wait. Weeks passed like water through open fingers, and Rohan watched them go, always believing tomorrow would be different. One evening, Rohan needed money for an exam form. It was 500 rupees, a small amount for some, a week's work for his mother. She did not ask him why he had not saved it himself. She did not ask where all his time had gone. She only looked at the coins for a long moment. Then she pressed the money into his hand with a tired smile. That night, Rohan sat at his desk with the form in front of him. He had the money, he had the pen, he had the time. And then he picked up his phone. He told himself he would check just one message. One message became 10. 10 became 1 hour. 1 hour became the whole night. The deadline had passed. His father found out 3 days later. He did not shout. He did not break things. He simply sat down in his chair and looked at his hands. And that silence was louder than any shout Rohan had ever heard. Rohan walked to his room, closed the door, sat on the floor. He did not feel sad. He felt something worse. He felt nothing, as if the part of him that cared had quietly left the room. A week later, Rohan sat near the old well at the edge of the village. He was not thinking, he was just sitting, empty. An old man sat nearby, a retired school teacher named Demoter, the kind of man who had seen 70 years of life and stopped being surprised by any of it. Demoter looked at Rohan for a long time without speaking. Then he asked one question. "What is the excuse today?" Rohan looked up. "What?" Demoter said, "Every time I see you, you are sitting and thinking about doing something, but never doing it. So I want to know, what is today's excuse?" Rohan felt a sting behind his eyes. "I'm just not ready yet," he said. The old man said, "Son, I have met hundreds of people in my life. People who were poor but succeeded, people who were rich but destroyed themselves. And do you know what separated them?" He said, "Not talent, not luck, not the right time." He picked up a small stone from the ground. He held it in front of Rohan's face. "This stone has been lying here for 20 years," he said, "waiting for the right time to move. It is still here. Stones do not move themselves, Rohan, and dreams do not build themselves either." Something shifted inside Rohan. Not a big dramatic moment, not tears, not a speech, just a quiet, uncomfortable truth finally sitting still in his chest. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you keep lying to yourself. The next morning, Rohan woke at 5:30. Not because everything had changed, but because he decided to stop waiting for everything to change before he started. He did not open 3 books, he opened one. He did not study for 6 hours. He studied for 40 minutes. It was not impressive. It was not the kind of thing anyone would write a story about, but it was real, and real was something Rohan had not felt in a long time. On the third day, the old habit came back. It always does. He picked up his phone and spent an hour watching things he wouldn't remember the next day. And when he put the phone down, the guilt was heavy. But this time, instead of making it into an excuse to give up, he simply wrote on a piece of paper, "I fell today. I start again tomorrow." Not dramatic, not inspiring, just honest. One morning, his father saw him studying before the sun had fully risen. He did not say anything. He just stood at the door for a moment, and then quietly left for work. That one silent nod carried more weight than any praise Rohan had ever received, because he knew his father had waited years for that morning. The weeks that followed were not perfect. Some days he studied 4 hours, some days he managed 30 minutes. Some nights the phone won, some nights he won. But the direction had changed, and in the end, direction matters more than speed. The result came on a Tuesday morning. Rohan stood far from the board. His hands were steady this time, not because he was confident, but because he had finally done the work. And whatever the result said, he had no excuses left to make. His name was there. He did not scream, he did not jump. He just stood very still and felt something fill the empty space in his chest. A quiet fullness, the kind that only comes when you stop lying to yourself. When he reached home, his mother did not read the paper right away. She looked at his face instead, and what she saw there made her eyes fill slowly. Not because he had passed an exam, but because her son had come back. That evening, Rohan sat at his desk and thought about the last few months, about all the days he had wasted, about the stone by the well that never moved. And he thought about one thing Demoter had said that he had not understood until now. The lie is never dramatic, the old man had told him. It does not come wearing a mask. It comes wearing your own face. It sounds like your own voice, and it says, "Not yet, not now, not today." That is the lie that destroys more dreams than failure ever could. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you keep lying to yourself. Stop and start. Rohan's story did not end with wealth. It did not end with fame. It ended with a young man who finally stopped being his own worst enemy. And if you are watching this right now, if some part of this story felt familiar, if you recognize that voice that says not yet and not now, then you already know what you need to do. Not tomorrow, not when things are perfect, today. If this story reached something inside you, please like this video. Not for us, but so this story reaches someone else who needs it tonight. Subscribe to this channel because every week we bring you one story that reminds you who you are capable of becoming. And share this with one person, just one, who you know is sitting at their desk right now, waiting for the right time.